When summer started, a good friend of mine from the olden days asked me if I wanted to get together and play some Magic the Gathering. Now, I haven't played Magic the Gathering for quite a few years. At our last best count, it's been about 15 to be exact. So I hit deep storage and I pulled out the Magic cards that I had. And I have just a couple. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's a lot of cards. You must have millions of dollars worth of cards. Send them out to PSA to get graded. There's nothing truly, really special here, but what there is a whole bunch of nostalgia for me and hopefully out there for you. Now, we're not going to go through all of these because these are pretty much in these boxes just common cards, but there are a few things I found that might be interesting to some of you, and maybe you can help me out even a little bit. See, I have a bunch of decks, and I'm not exactly sure what I was doing when I stopped playing. We'll take all these boxes of the different color cards, we'll put them to the side for right now, and we'll kind of reestablish ourselves. Some colors have more commons than others. I'm sure everyone has that issue. I have all these land right here. This is all basic land, but in the inside these, I also have like these little packages of cards too. And some of these are just really a trip down memory lane. I have authentic sleeves from probably a good 15. Oh my gosh, yeah. These are ancient. Some of these things are from like the early 2000s. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought you might want to join me as I go through some of this stuff, and hopefully it gives you a nostalgia trip. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But either way, we'll set the camera up so you can see me over the shoulder as I go through the decks that I've made and show you some of these old inserts, posters, and even like just packs like this. Ice Age stuff, cool stuff. So this is going to be a long video no matter what I do, and it's pretty much going to be me rambling. And I figured we'd start with the coolest thing that we used to do back in the day, and that is a trade binder. So the cards you were willing to trade, we would bring to either the card shops we were going to or to each other's houses, things like that. And what you'll see right away when we get into this binder is the last time I really played seriously and spent money was in the Mirrodin block. And I also spent a fair amount of money on, I believe it was Kamigawa. It sounds familiar. I really realized the other day when I was playing Magic that I don't know much anymore about anything. The other thing you might see in here is when Planeswalkers first came out, I want to say like 2010, they got popular. There's Planeswalker stuff because that's when me and my wife tried to get back into it pretty substantially, but it just wasn't working out. And we kind of stopped playing after a year or two. So no big deal there. It's still a fun game. But anyways, these are my, I had the artifacts first. Mirrodin was artifact heavy. And you'll see a bunch of holes and missing things like that. The reason is because my friend who had come over the other night, about 5 years ago, he came over and he wanted to see my magic cards. And I told him, hey, whatever you want, just take it because it's more useful to you who still plays competitively than it is sitting in a binder in a closet. So he went through and he took out whatever he wanted, needed, could use. And that was good because then they're seeing some play. And I'd rather these things see play than just sit in a binder somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So you can see already in a lot of this, there's the base 8 set, Mirrodin, Kamigawa. There's old stuff, Urza stuff. There's Arcadian masks, I want to say. I don't even know anymore. I couldn't tell you half the symbols. This is Urza something or other. I'm very useful, I know. But yeah, just some of these things I thought were cool. The problem is, before they started using color codes in the cards, I don't know the rarities of certain things. So I could have decent cards in these boxes. I don't think I do. I think we went through these years ago and found there was nothing really useful in there. But yeah, this is what I know is rare or what people told me was rare or desirable. And what was rare or desirable obviously would change throughout the years. Like this is not a rare. But at the time I was playing, the Goblin Matron was very, very desirable. So, it's going to shift over time. Some of these cards are just kind of like near and dear to me. The first Magic experience I ever had was during the Ice Age block. So I tend to keep Ice Age stuff, even if it's not rare, in better condition because it's kind of like near and dear to me. But hopefully you can see some of these cards here. Not really doing a good job of showing the other side, I think, but there's a whole lot of stuff here. I mainly played green decks and red with some white. Wasn't really a blue and black deck kind of person. I have an Oasis. That's neat. That looks like an original land. I also had a problem with land. See, I had and still have an issue of that card looks pretty. So I have a ton of like foil lands and things like that, and there's some of them. Oh man, the Urza's Tower. That's so cool. That's a trade binder. That's what's left of it, at least. It's been purged out substantially by my friend with my entire blessing and permission. It's better that he uses it than I use it. Over here, I don't want to spend too much time in it. These are supposed to be uncommons, but there was these gigantic cards I found. I have no idea. They're magic. I don't know what they're supposed to do exactly. I haven't seen these for a long time, but they're here. I don't know if this is a set of them. I don't know how I got them, but they're here. So whatever they do, I'm not sure. This is the kind of stuff though I live for is these little rule books for Magic the Gathering, the Ice Age one specifically, because the first thing I ever got Magic wise, was one of these Ice Age. I don't know if they were called them booster boxes or something, and it had this little manual inside. I remember laying in my bed as a kid, just reading this over and over and over again. And I'm not sure why the aesthetic of the this era of Magic with the blue logo and everything for the ice, something magical about it for me personally. I'm sure other people have other eras, but that's just how I grew up. Not sure if the Duelist is still around to this day. Go through this little rule book here. Kind of tells you all the ideas, gives you a sample game. I used to read this over and over and over again, and you think after reading it I would know how to play the game, but I really probably didn't truly learn to play until I want to say high school and college era. To me, the cards just looked cool and they were fun to collect, and I don't know, just one of those things that I got into by chance. Like I said, most of these things should be uncommons. At least I'm pretty sure they're uncommons. A lot of them, the silver helps you out with that, but these earlier ones, there's really nothing to tell you it's uncommon except just knowing the set. But we could go through these all day long. I'm not going to do that because there's a lot of repeats over and over and over again. Ooh, man, that's Legends, I think, right? Do you know anything about this?
No.
There's Urza's Armor. Oh man, I remember that too. I remember people had like these ping decks and all the Urzas and Caltrops. Fun stuff there. But there's a couple things in here I wanted to show before we moved on. Aside from those, there's these guys here. They're kind of hiding, and some of you might say, well, "What the heck's going on here?" This is the silver background. I think this was like Magic the Gathering cracked or some kind of like just joke set. It was just a joke set, but it had some funny stuff in it, especially if you played a lot or you around a lot of people who played a lot. I thought it was funny. I ended up buying a lot of these, and I guess when it's all said and done, why did I buy all these? I don't know. Land Aid '04. Is this maybe it was made in '04? Is there copyrights on this? Yeah, this is '04. So these cards are 21 years old. These cards are 21 years old. I think I hung out with people who looked like this. He was a cool
I know,
dude
right?
back then. You got the silk screen
Oh
printed
yeah.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku shirt. The ladies will not leave you alone with that. Make sure you get the Janko jeans too. Got to look like you haven't showered for 3 days, and then everyone's all about you. Yeah, these are fun. I can't obviously go through all of them, but it's interesting to see all this fun little parody sets they made throughout the years. So I have a bunch of those in here for some reason. I think I bought a bunch of packs. I just thought it was fun. It was obviously much more immature back in 2001. Yeah, oh my gosh, look how many of these I have. I have so many of these things. Why did I buy so many of these things? I wonder if they're worth anything. They can't be. They're not even legal for play. Like the back is fine, obviously, but the silver around it. There might be some kind of special tournament in which you could use them. But I have that many, and then I have this many more. I just have a ton of these. There's shinies. There's foils in these too, I think. Oh, just there's something that's shiny. Yeah, there we go. Great. There's so many things here. Okay, well, I spent a lot of money on those. Probably should not have, because I'm not sure what you do with them anymore. But again, it was just for funsies. It was a parody set. And yeah, the rest of these in here, they're just going to be, let's pull some from here. Uncommon reds here. Some of this stuff you probably haven't seen for a while. I think that was Fifth Dawn. That was Kamigawa. I think I bought a whole box of that when it came out. Back when Magic cards were reasonable and they weren't becoming someone's either retirement or whatever. The flip cards. Okay. Yeah, this is looking familiar. Some of these old cards. Pyrotechnics. Man, been a long time. So there you go. That's what's in that one right there. And actually, real quick before we move on, what is this? What is this? What is this here? Oh, Siobhan Dragon. I remember you could get one in a box that Toys R Us had exclusively. You bought the box, you were guaranteed to get a Siobhan Dragon. That was like the playground creature that we all talked about. How like it's so powerful, it's amazing. It's 5/5 flying. And it's a really good card, but yeah, it's funny. Okay, so this is just kind of like a how to play. That's neat. How to play a little Magic the Gathering universe with their characters from Magic the Gathering in the universe of Magic the Gathering before they apparently adopted every pop culture thing on Earth. I was playing a Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering game. That was weird. And then I was told there is a Fortnite Magic the Gathering version. And then there's apparently a SpongeBob Magic the Gathering. So I don't know why they decided to go that route with the pop culture. In my opinion, the Magic the Gathering world and lore was always so mysterious, deep, and interesting that you really didn't need to have like a tie-in with pop culture stuff. But that's just me. Anyways, this says White Commons. It is not. Instead, this is a whole bunch of stuff. What's in here? an original copy of Flux, which has just the instructions because actual Flux is upstairs. We just found that. Some random magic cards. Not sure what they're doing there. Let's see what's in this box here. In box number 2, we have, it looks like a deck. This looks like some kind of red deck, maybe a red burn deck. Yeah, there's Lightning Bolt. Kind of looks like a red burn deck. Like a real quick red burn deck because it looks like nothing but spells. And this is a way to get my graveyard back. So, yeah, this looks like a red burn deck. I'm sure people out there could tell me more or less about it, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is a burn deck. What do you think there?
Me, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a burn deck. It's all spells. There's like 2 walls in here. Yep, a lot of mana, a lot of spells. That looks like a red burn deck from back in the day. I wonder if they still have like types of decks like that. I'm not sure. Who knows? There's a box here. What's this box of? This is a box of... this kind of looks like it should be a deck. It almost looks pre-constructed. I don't know what this symbol is. This is... Okay, so these were dual decks that they sold. So this was supposed to be Liliana Vess's deck. So it is a pre-constructed deck, which means this over here is probably the counterpart to it, Ferocity and Growth. So this is the green counter to this deck here. I'm not sure what block this symbol is, or if it was just some kind of like, I don't know what you want to call it, special edition release, but there you go. Those are the dual decks. I think we bought these. This is where we probably tried to start, if I had to guess. We probably tried to come back to Magic, and we had these pre-constructed ones, so that's okay. At least that's a little clearer now what they are. Kamigawa boxes. I bought a ton of these back then. I'm not sure why. I think I was really dedicated. At that time, some of our friends were trying to become judges, I believe, for Wizards. Okay, so this is base set Magic, the Magic 10 base set. These are all commons from the, well, there's an uncommon. I don't think this is a deck. This looks like, why is this in a Kamigawa box? These are not Kamigawa cards. I'm not even sure what that symbol is, the hourglass symbol. That's interesting. Okay. I have no idea. Do you know what these? You know what this is from?
I don't know.
Oh, Slivers. I remember these. Twisted Abomination. Shiny Mountain. Why were these yours? Maybe. I mean, I don't think we differentiated whose cards were who, did we?
No, but I don't remember. I mean, it's been so long.
It's 15 years.
I literally don't remember anything.
This just looks like a collection of cards.
Are they what?
They might. You know what it might have been, and I'll go with the simplest thing. We had bought some cards and we were running out of places in the boxes to put them, and we just didn't sort them.
That actually sounds exactly what we would do.
Yeah, this sounds like we just didn't sort these. That's that's a gold. That's a rare golden whatever. Cool. There's some cool stuff here. If it's valuable, I don't know. I don't think I'll be getting rid of it anytime soon. This is not like I'm going to sell it video or what do I have as a valuable video. This is I still have this. I kept it. When I got rid of a lot of other stuff, I kept this, so it's interesting. This is the same thing where it's different sets. There's not one set represented here, but this could have been the block that we were trying to play in at the time. These cards are in extraordinarily good condition, but I mean, we would have sorted these if we had kept playing.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably just kind of the casualty of us getting into it,
and then we kind of just stopped.
Yep, just stopping, and whatever was there was there. I mean, we had the wherewithal to put them into something to keep their form, but I guess I have no idea what block that is, and the thing is, they don't have it anywhere on the card what block it is. But I would say that they're not decks. This just says white commons on the side, but clearly that's not the case. So that's interesting. Okay, let's see what's behind. What's in box number this? Blue. I'm guessing some kind of counterspell deck or control. So it's blue. It's Kamigawa block. It might have been built specifically for Kamigawa. I'm starting to think it was built specifically for Kamigawa to be, what would they call it, like legal in the block to play. I don't know if you remember Magic, but whatever set was current, there were rules around that set. You couldn't use any other cards. But now, yeah, this looks like just a blue Kamigawa deck, probably like a scrying deck, and try to dig through. Yeah, you're trying to get this guy out. You're trying to get the big guy out by using the smaller cards. And okay, that's what this is, it seems. But it's all Kamigawa, so I believe this was meant to be played in the block itself. So, does that make sense? Snow-covered islands, man. Cool stuff. Okay, well, that is looks like a blue control deck. Not control, that's just a blue deck. a blue find the big creature fishing deck. Is that what they call that? I'm not sure. What do we got here? Just random commons. Okay. Just random commons. Nothing special, a lot of base set stuff, but definitely some random commons. We'll put those back. We'll put this here. Then we'll dig into here, which, oh, I think I know what this is. Oh, I remember I was trading cards that were valuable just because I wanted more foil lands. I think I was onto something. I don't know why I thought the foil lands were the coolest thing ever. I still do. They're still pretty. And unfortunately, they kind of got some kind of a curve to them. They're not completely climate controlled, but they definitely weren't stored in bad conditions. I mean, look at these. Some of these are ancient, but I love the foil. Love all the artwork for the forest. I love all the mana artwork. Some of my favorite stuff. I don't know why. I always have. Got a ton of different ones, though. What was that? That was Kamigawa. Okay. Mirrodin. Everything had that steel look to it. That was a fun block. I remember there was a lot of cards that got banned out of that block because it got too powerful. Mountains still pretty. Man, look at that. What do you think about these?
Yeah, those are really cool.
An addiction to shiny. Oh, hey, look, I even. See, Past Me wasn't that dumb. Past Me was still pretty organized. Okay, well, we're getting somewhere in terms of understanding what we were doing. I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, put that there. This doesn't have anything in it. Do we go through these already? Artifact land. Artifact land. Oh yeah, I wonder if they still do that. This is all the dark steel stuff. I think that was the dark steel logo. I can't remember. But these are all artifact lands, and of course there were different triggers based on artifact lands as opposed to real lands, and this, that, and the other. These aren't bad though, honestly. It's green and it counts as an artifact. That's the purpose of it. So it would be a land that produced the mana you wanted, the color you wanted, but it was also an artifact.
Nice.
So then things that triggered abilities with artifacts would be triggered with that.
Yeah.
Okay. These boxes are kind of going to hang out into the void here until I figure out what to do with them. Let's go into the more interesting box here, and that is the deck box. And I don't know where to start with these, because this is where I kind of like just completely lose any semblance of what I was doing. Pop this one open here. Looks like we have a white and red. And it looks like all samurai. This is probably a samurai deck. Yeah, it looks like a samurai deck of some sort that we made back in that block. This is probably before I met you.
Okay.
Were you ever around when he had the store down there?
Nope.
Okay,
I've
so this
only
is
heard the
before I met
tales.
you. It seems like it was later than it was, but it was probably 04, 05 at the latest.
Which would make sense, because we didn't get together till 07.
Well, there you go. Yeah, this is some kind of samurai deck we made, white and red. Doesn't look bad. The issue that I had with Magic the Gathering, and I probably still would, is the people we played with, and it's not anything against them. Wow, I haven't seen that card for years. They started making these decks that were one turn, first turn, second turn wins. And when you have all these cards and this sheer variety of cards and cool stuff you can do and experience, and then everyone you play against just has a 1 or 2 turn instant win deck,
know,
it
that's
just
not
becomes like
fun.
not fun. And then you say to them, hey, can you play a deck that isn't 1 or 2 wins or 1 or 2 turns to win? And then they would just play a deck that won in 3 turns or 4 turns.
Right.
And they laughed about it. And they're like, why don't you want to play Magic anymore?
I
Why don't you want to
know.
play card games anymore? Well, it's because it's not fun. It's not enjoyable for all of us.
Yeah.
It's like, well, just go and build that deck then. It's like, that's not the point.
I know. It's not like I got all these cards just to like.
Here you go. Proxies. Some kind of blue and okay, so there's a blue. Looks like a Madness deck. Yep.
Interesting.
Looks like a Madness deck. Madness says you can play this card for its Madness cost at any time, discard it from your hand. So the goal was you're forced to discard it, or you have to discard something. So then instead of paying 5, you pay 3.
Okay.
And because you're forced to discard, you can just pay that, put it down for 3 instead of the cost of it. So then you get 3 for a 4/4, which is the value, and it's trampled
the value.
too.
Yeah.
Flashback, yep. Pay 3 life to pull it from your graveyard. This says discard a card from your hand. Okay, so the idea would be like, this is a creature, it's out. Discard a card from my hand. Oh, I'm going to discard this card. I'm going to pay its 3 to put it down, a 4/4 down for 3. That's the idea, that kind of stuff. Not crazy. Basking Rootwalla, Madness 0. You can just play this for nothing. So it costs nothing just to play it from your hand, even though it costs 1 to put down normally. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that's fun. I must have added these in here because they worked well with it.
Yeah.
Basic land acceleration, okay. Null Rod. This is put in to counteract all the stuff from the Mirrodin block because everyone had so many abilities with artifacts. Look at this stuff. I'm starting to realize this is what I was doing. All
Mm,
creatures able to block Taunting Elf do so. So you try to make sure you throw him there, so everyone has to block him,
yeah.
so everything else can run over. There's there method to the madness. This was a fun one. I think a friend of mine made this for me, more or less. But this is yeah, it's a madness flashback. Yeah, put a worm token to play. Play it for 4 from your graveyard. Man, that's funny. Yep, naturalize, destroy all these stuff. So I think the decks are not only a consequence of all of Magic cards throughout the history of the game, but they're also a consequence of what's hot right now. Birds of Paradise. This is one of the coolest things we saw as kids. This is another Playground Legend card.
Mm,
This is the original one I saw when I was a kid. And to have one of these, only the best players or the coolest kids
mm,
had Birds of Paradise. And as a kid, you couldn't figure out why would you have a 1 mana for a 0/1 flying? Like, what's the point of that?
mm.
You didn't fully understand the game. You're like, oh, you can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool for just
Oh,
1 green. So if you need
okay.
some other color,
Right.
this does it for you, and it's flying, so it's hard to target.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of reason and rhyme to this stuff that when I was a kid in third or fourth grade didn't quite get. Now as an adult, I'm like, oh, this is why it's fun. Yep, same stuff over and over again. Draw a card, madness. Yeah, I can do it whenever I want. Crazy stuff,
Mm,
fun stuff. Okay, so overrun. There it is. So it's an overrun deck too. So
yeah.
you put the army of creatures out, and they all get +3/+3 and trample. There's 2 of those. I see. This could be fun to play still.
Mm-hmm.
I might play this tonight. We should play some Magic together, the
Yeah.
old stuff,
Yeah.
and try to figure this
That'd
out.
be fun. Didn't I make a death deck?
I
Black.
want to see you did. Do you know where the cards that you would have are?
You would probably have them.
Wouldn't they be with your Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, or no?
I feel like you would have kept them with the magic.
There's got to be some more cards somewhere in
Because
this
I
house.
remember wanting to make.
Oh, maybe some of these are yours. I don't
Is
know.
that that might
This could have been yours.
that looks kind of
Familiar
familiar.
to you? Okay. Yeah, because I didn't really ever play black and blue. I know that was the issue. Is like everyone who you didn't want to play with was doing the black and blue like
Oh,
nonstop.
okay. I just thought it would be cool.
This could be something you made, and this. What was the point of this one? Do you remember?
It's
Because there's a lot of card acceleration.
you helped me make it,
Hmm.
and it's been 15 years, and I don't remember. So then I remember I wanted you specifically asked like which one, and I was like I want a death deck,
Hmm.
and that's what I wanted. And I remember you bought the black sleeves and everything to go along with it, and that's all I remember.
Yeah. Clone sounds really good. That seems like a valuable card. Still looks old. Yeah. I think that must have been what it was. This doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. We can try to play with it, but
I would try it.
yeah,
I'm down.
like John said, like just read the card. Just read the
Yeah.
card. Oh, clone is a rare. Okay, didn't realize that. You want to talk about simplification of language and like when you're first starting off. You know how we talk frequently about when you start a career or something like that, you're kind of just playing that job.
Mm,
Okay, so there's the same card. This is not original, but pretty close. And then over here, you have the simplification of language. It says, upon summoning, clone acquires all characteristics, including color, of any one creature in play on either side. Any creature enchantments on original creature are not copied. Clone retains these characteristics even after original creature is destroyed. Clone cannot be summoned if there are no creatures in play. So now it says, as clone comes into play, you may choose a creature in play. If you do, clone comes into play as a copy of that creature. This specifies no enchantments, but at this point,
oh,
the
that
enchantments
one's
probably had
clear.
not been around that much anymore,
Mhm.
so it was kind of like, what's the need? Interesting. But
Yeah.
that's simplification of language and rules, where the other one had too verbose of an
Yes.
explanation.
We were like,
Yeah.
wait, let me read it again.
Counterspell, I hate that card. I do like that he showed me that counterspell from SpongeBob. Counterspell.
I know.
That's all I could think of. Tell me counterspell you.
I know.
Oh, shut up. Hate you. Yeah, I can't play against blue and black decks, man. Too
sorry.
many bad experiences back then. It wasn't bad experiences, just like, oh, we're gonna have an evening playing Magic. And then by the third game you play with someone like that, I'm like, wow, I wish I didn't know you.
Yeah, the elf deck. Looking at those commons and stuff, the elf deck.
Elf
Looks
decks are fun,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is another, looks like a red deck. Looks like a goblin deck, if I had to get. Goblin War Chief, Goblin Chariot,
Mm.
Goblin King, Goblin Chariot, Bravado, Reckless One, Goblin Digging Team. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is a red goblin deck. Some defenses there. But goblins are all about just pinging away at you as fast
Okay.
as possible.
That makes sense.
Now, this is Ancient Goblin Grenade, Goblin Striker, Raging Goblins. He raged the world, at his family, at his life, but mostly he just raged.
What about against the machine?
Yeah. Yeah, grenade sacrifice a goblin, deal 5 damage. Yeah, this is meant to burn you as fast as possible. The good old fashioned goblin decks. Brightstone ritual. Oh yeah. Yep, yep. Goblin Balloon Great. I miss his old art. I just
Mhm.
love.
Yes, we do too.
This is why I'm even this. Like,
Mhm.
why did Magic feel the need to not only change art styles completely, but also felt the need to say, like, this game needs more of Goku, SpongeBob, or whatever else. I don't
I
know. If it's,
know. It
is
didn't
there? There's.
need it didn't need it
It
like
didn't need it. I'm not
yeah.
saying there's. I don't think there's a Dragon Ball collab, but it's like it didn't need all this random stuff. Now these, I remember buying these specifically. Where I don't know. I don't know if I got them at the store. I'm going back. I'm not sure if I got them at the store or not, but this one's seen better days. I have to re-glue that. I'm guessing these are my special decks because they have special boxes, and I think that's how people still would treat their things. Their favorites are kept in special boxes, and I think this is my elf deck, which I really liked.
Ooh.
I like the elf deck. Yeah, this is. I can tell
Okay.
you right now, it's an
Nice.
elf deck. Yeah, this looks like an elf deck of some sort. It probably has over. Yeah, there's a French version of Overrun. Okay, there you go. Heart Wardens. So elves kind of like build off each other. They use each other to generate more mana to summon more elves,
Mhm.
and then more elves in play. You know, you get more bonuses, and then you have a whole army of elves. So basically, use the elves as a mana source to summon more elves. Then, same thing, Overrun. It's like what's that thing? Wild Growth. That was the
Yeah.
Hearthstone. Remember that
For the
Druid deck?
druid deck,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Druid deck I used in Hearthstone.
The same like vibe.
That actually became like a pretty decent deck. I
Yes.
realized I was doing what everyone else was doing, but my own way, but was
Yeah.
still pretty effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, Timberwatch Elf gets X plus X, where X is the number of elves in play. So you beef him up with all little
Mhm.
elves. Taunting Elf, so you can survive long enough. Llanowar Elves, Well Wisher, gain 1 life for each elf in play. That's why I saw the Well Wisher that she took. I was like, hey, wait,
Yeah.
Finehorn Elves, Elvish Pioneers, more land acceleration. This looks like fun, man. I want to
Yeah, it
play this right
does.
now.
I know.
Let's finish this video so we can play.
I know, right?
Overrun, yeah,
I'm
this
getting
is
excited.
fun.
Mhm.
I miss all this stuff. Lano, it's fun to see how these things change over time. So try the best I can because I'm gonna be able to find them. So there's that one. This is the same card, by the way. It's base set cards get reprinted
Mhm.
over and over and over again. That's not the same thing. There's a couple of them. I remember that one. Oh, maybe I don't have that many. Maybe I don't. I know I just went through this, but here. So you can see how they get reprinted over time. This is an
Okay.
original one. This is a much later
Yeah.
art edition there. So it's cool that
Mhm.
they kind of keep the same energy, but either change it a little bit or make it a little more modern. I don't know what you want to call it. Okay, so that's probably why that was in that special case. 'Cause I really liked playing with this elf deck. So that got its own special case back in the day. I like that. And then finally, this one here. This was, I believe, my pride and joy because it actually was able to compete back in the Mirrodin block against some of the more
Mm.
obnoxious, aggressive decks, and was able to do that because it was there's a format. There used to be a format that didn't really have any rules on what you could put in there. It was still limited to like 1 copy or so. I forgot. I'm just talking my butt at this point, but I have all these proxies in here. Obviously, these are the Power 9, and I don't really own them. Look at Black Lotus. I write like that. That's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
I still write like that.
But all these here were meant to really work together with this sunburst idea
Mhm.
that occurred in the Mirrodin block. And what you're seeing here is idea of sunburst, with all these different colors of mana were used to beef up the arrows. There's creatures in here. Comes into play with a 1+1 counter on it for each color of mana used to pay its cost. So if I pay 4 different colors of mana, he gets 4+1+1 counter. So you got 4, 4, 4, 4, which is good value, obviously. Yeah, all this stuff. I think this is a life gain deck. When I look at all this stuff, it's supposed to beef up a few creatures and gain life. Then sunburst of 2, remove it, add whatever color you want. Yeah, this is all about the color stuff, the sunburst stuff. What do we? Maybe we called it a sunburst deck. I can't remember. Tons of shiny stuff though. Magistrate Scepter. Take another turn. Yep. So it was
Mm.
put charge counters, and I had stuff to put charge counters on things.
Right.
Goblet. Okay, so when this came out and I sunbursted this, I remember having hundreds of life at certain points against certain decks. Oh yeah, this is ancient. I wonder if this was still hold. I don't think this would still hold up. I mean, half the cards are probably banned in this case, but yeah, that's interesting. So that was my special deck that I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make. Cool. All right, well, I guess we can put these back in here for now. those are all the decks we had. And, you know, going through them, you kind of remember, oh, this is what I was aiming for when I made this. So that's kind of cool. Like I said, the last time you and I personally played was 2015, and that is quite a few years ago. A couple of things I want to show everyone. This was a Magic the Gathering, bag for dice and counters. This came from a box that you could buy that contained a Siobhan Dragon from Toys R Us. I'm not saying Toys R Us was the only place you could buy it, but I want to say I was in 7th or 8th grade when I basically tried to save any penny I could, then convinced my mom to drive to Warrensville to pick up one of these boxes so I could get the Siobhan Dragon and the counters, the Magic the Gathering counter bag. Even though I really didn't understand the game at that point, it was cool. All the kids in the playground had it, so I wanted it too. Thank God I don't operate like that anymore, but that's where that came from. That's very old. And then finally, this book I picked up, and let's check the date on this bad boy. When was this published? Actually, you know what the easiest thing to do? It's starting to get discolored already here. Copyright 2002. So this book came out in '02. I think I bought it in '03 or '04, and this is basically everything that had been printed in Magic the Gathering up to that point. So, fourth edition. It starts at fourth edition? No. I don't know where it starts at. I would assume it starts at, like, what do they call it? Unlimited? No, Unlimited was after. Maybe it was fourth edition. I don't know. But anyways, it's like a coffee table book, I think they call it. So I remember a lot of cards from this era. The Dark was one of the cooler eras, I think. And again, this art style is so cool. It's not consistent. There was a ton of different artists, I know that. But there was something ethereal about it that's just kind of gone now. And that sort of makes me a little sad, but hey, whatever. The good news is I can use this book to kind of identify the sets those other ones are from. So we have Pine Barrens Repentance, Tempest. Okay. This is telling you which cards it is. Island to Magmasaur, and then Tempest is the set. Okay, so top left is the set. Yep, Tempest. Cards in the page. I get it. So there's that. Gosh. So this goes all the way up to 7th edition. Is that where it stops? It goes up to Apocalypse. Okay, so that's where this book stops. So that symbol was Apocalypse. I didn't remember buying a lot of them, but I guess I did. So there you go. Ends up at Apocalypse. Interesting. I thought this was a nice little book here. I don't leave it out in the basement like I should, mainly because we don't have extra space for this kind of stuff. There's basically no room for extra stuff down here, but I think it's pretty cool. The Urza set, I think the Urza's Legacy, Urza Saga, all the Urza stuff was always so cool to me when I was a kid. What do we got? There's 3 of them, wasn't there? There's Urza's Saga. No, maybe it was just Urza Saga. I don't know. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. It's time to wrap this bad boy up. Now, if this video hits a lot of views, I will be happy to go through all my other boxes and we can spend hours upon hours looking at old Magic cards together and see what's in these boxes, although I guarantee there are a ton of repeat commons. Either way, it was really fun for me to rediscover these cards after all these years. They've been sitting in storage, and luckily for the most part, they've held up pretty well. I have a fun time playing Magic with my friend, and I'm really thinking about buying some of those new Final Fantasy cards, not because they're Final Fantasy Magic, just because they're a newer set, and I kind of want to get back and do it a little bit, at least in a healthy way. Either way, I hope you enjoyed going through this little time capsule nostalgia with me of Magic the Gathering, and we'll see you in the next one.